All right, welcome to the Ham Radio Hobo show. Hello, welcome to Ham Radio Hobo show. My name's Tom AF7J. We'll try it again. Take what is this, 25? I don't know. Anyhow, my name's Tom AF7J. I'm a truck driver. Right now, I'm out here in Aurora, Colorado, and yesterday I went to Ham Radio Outlet to check out, see if they had anything cool there. They had some cool looking radios, Kenwoods, some Icoms, and some Yaesus. I was expecting to get a collapsible whip to go with my Wolf River coil. Wolf River coil is a type of antenna that is a screwdriver antenna. So you have your coax and then a coil in the coil acts as an inductor with a sliding tap, and you slide the collar on the coil to get your tap points for different frequencies that you want to work on. And so while I was there at the store, I kind of described that to the salesperson there. I forgot his name because I didn't take any notes, but he was not too familiar with the woofer recoil. Was looking for like the chameleon 17-foot whip, but they didn't have anything of that sort there. Some of the stuff that I've seen on YouTube, I think the salesperson should be familiar with some of the news and reviews and stuff like that. Being that I'm a truck driver and right now I've just started back up truck driving, it's been kind of hard to get the bills paid up. I've been away from truck driving since March, since the final deal of Last Man Standing happened. And so with all that occurring, it made it kind of difficult to be out of a job since March, the end of March, till the beginning of July. I was out of work, so it was kind of hard to pay the bills. So I'm trying to catch up on that, and thought I'd get out of the truck and go check out Ham Radio Outlet. So the disappointing factor there was not having enough money to really buy anything there, uh, and kind of felt like I should have came there with some money in order to spend radios. I think when we interact with people, we get we get this kind of misinterpretation, and I don't know if it was a misinterpretation, but it seemed like the salesman was really expecting me to have some kind of money and fork it down and say, "Yep, yeah, let me buy this, let me buy that, blah blah blah." And as I've been in amateur radio, I know that there's a lot of gear out there, and there's been a joke that was, and it was somewhat true, about MFJ claiming that they're mighty fine junk. Um, but when we look at amateur radio, we look at different cultures and different ethnic groups and different economic groups that are involved in amateur radio. Amateur radio doesn't say that you have to be a millionaire or or have thousands of dollars uh, of equipment to communicate. You can obviously, people know that you can communicate with a soda can and some string to your neighbor, string it across the yard, kind of talk that way. But we're talking about radio waves, and so when that comes into factor, we're talking about an actual radio that transmits and receives and sends out a RF signal uh, into the atmosphere or into the air or that. And so along that lines, I just felt like the prince and the pauper. You know, like if I was the prince, I would have been treated differently. But if I was the pauper, I would be not treated uh, as though I was the prince. And so the old story that of of somebody coming in to a car dealership, a fancy one, let's say Lamborghini or Tesla or whatever, and saying, in rags and saying, "I'd like to buy a car," and they kind of look at you like, "Why would you want to buy a car when you can't even afford a fancy suit or whatever?" And I think it becomes disingenuous to the salesperson to brush that person off of because they don't understand everybody's situation. So, uh, any advice I could give to HRO is always always try to know your products um, as much as you can and be enthusiastic about things. And try to make the sale. Oh, okay, well, you're not on this kind of budget, but hey, we've got some connectors here. We've got maybe you need some Anderson power poles. Something along that line. Something to try to make some kind of cha-ching on the register happen. The other thing that happened while I was there, it seemed like some gal was like worried about the COVID thing. We got 6 people in the building, and so I just like, oh, maybe I need to just dial up the Lyft driver and say, hey, come pick me up. And so I spent uh, $20 to get there, and then like $35 to get back to my semi truck. And I walked away with nothing. Some people would call that a win situation, uh, and uh, and window shopping via HRO. The other thing, being in the store, being in the store, it just had the label. It had the label, like this. We'll just say this is the AC radio, okay, and it has a little label on top of the radio. Uh, it would be better if they took all their merchandise and all the little labels and put like a little QR code or barcode or something that somebody, hey, welcome to our store. Welcome to, this is how I do it. This is how I do it. It would be like, hey, welcome to Ham Radio Outlet. What's your call sign, my friend? And they'd say, hey, I'm AF7J. I'm out here truck driving, and I'm a ham radio operator X class. Uh, and the salesman would be like, "Oh, okay. Well, you're out of town. Well, welcome to Denver, Utah, to HRO. How about we take a look at some radios, or what can we help you with today?" Well, I was looking for one of them collapsible whips to go on my Wolf River coil antenna. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, let's see if we got those in stock. Oh, looks like we're out. But hey, anything else can help you with? What else are you in the budget for? Or what's your budget looking like? What you got going on? Uh, try to make that sell and try to make it more interesting instead of just like, okay, well, thanks, have a walk around, do whatever. I think sometimes you get brushed off. It's like, well, if they don't have something, that you want, uh, maybe they can offer something that that will work, or they can, you know, the thing was like, it's almost like you go in there, it's like nothing's priced, so therefore they're afraid to sticker shock you. Uh, to where you just walk out the store and leave because, oh man, I can't afford that. I can't afford that fancy equipment. Man, I'll just go back to Chinese Bofang radio. A UE5R or whatever. Here, let me. Hello, you out there, buddy? Yeah, okay, you can make the contact. You can make the contact. The other person is not. as one of our club members said, well, we got the antenna up, the trap vertical antenna. They said the other guy on the other end ain't gonna know the difference, if it's just a little cockeyed, not perfectly vertical, The other guy on the other end, the other guy on the other end isn't gonna know exactly that you might be on a Chinese radio, unless you say, hey, I'm on the Chinese radio, the parts inside sometimes are almost the same now with electronics as they are on a radio that you're going to spend 200, 300, 500 bucks for. It's called production. You know, uh, we change the whole dang assembly production line just for one product. Some companies will, and that's what they did. They specialize in is multiple changing of stuff and being able to produce things in a manner that that all they have to do is just take the Bofang case off, clap on the Yaesu, push it on down the line, push it on down the line. So I know there's 26 subscribers. I want to thank those that have subscribed to the Ham Radio Hobo channel. Sorry that you guys have seen some weird glitches or whatever with the onboard screen uh, device, but as far as my advice for HRO, get some QR codes, put them on them labels. Have a sign that says, use your phone QR code app. If you want to know the price, bam, there. Now you're not bugging the guy that's got to sit there behind the counter. He's got to answer phones, okay, and then he's also got to deal with in-person people, right? Um, yeah, it's great. It's great to be able to get out to go to HRO. Wish I could afford all the stuff that's in the store and take it home with me. I wouldn't have to pay for shipping because I just have to pay the Uber driver and you know bring all the packages back in the semi truck and back to Utah. But um, that isn't going to happen. But the weirdest thing is, who knows? One day I might go in the truck stop and be like, give me a Powerball ticket. Next thing you know, I'm $500,000 richer than what it was. And decide, well, okay, do I want to go? Do I want to go to HRO, or do I just want to spend my money somewhere else? That's what you don't want to have a customer leave the store with. Leave them with the experience of like, hey, these guys were cool. They helped me out even though I didn't have any money, or they kind of gave me some advice on some ham radio stuff that I should look look into investing in. And now I've got a game plan. Now I know where I'm going. I didn't leave the store like that at all. I left the store like, oh, here's some flyers here for the local club and repeater list or whatever for the Denver area. You know, uh, that's about it. Um, so, HRO, come on, step up the game. We're all we're all hurting right now. Do you want the sale or do you not want the sale? That's the question I have for HRO: is do you want our business or do you not want our business? You know, everybody's economical value is different. We all have different ideas of how to communicate. There's so many different antennas. You know, be like, okay, well, these antennas are great for this type of environment. These antennas are great for this type of work. Portable operations, or or this is a permanent mount antenna, or this is a put it up temporary mount antenna. You know, put up, and then there's what put up once and set it all out and forget it. For a while. Every antenna, of course, is going to need maintenance, and every equipment eventually will fail over time. The environment is can be very harsh. Up in Alaska, it's quite harsh, and out here in the Rockies and the West Coast right now with all the heat that we're having. It's crazy. So, anyhow, I just hope you guys enjoyed this video uh, about HRO. The other things that I was going to mention was about clubs, ham radio clubs, and getting involved, being more active. There we go. If people don't have that much money, but yet they're joining a club, there should be a way that the club can collaborate together and besides just doing field day, have a group of guys go out and do some POTA, parks on the air. Have some guys go out and hike up a mountaintop and do some summits on the air, or just have some guys go out on a weekend to a public park and set up the antenna and do some HO. I know there's a lot of stipulations there because oh the park wants this and they want their money and it's like if you're just doing it for a couple of hours or so, that's great. Um, it's a great way to learn how that antenna really needs to be set up, organized, and hassle free. What kind of detail, you know, the devil's in the details when it comes to antenna design and construction and putting it up and, and having it to where it's less frustration, especially when you're dealing with a vertical antenna and you've got ground radials that you have to deal with, with your vertical antenna and ground radials, and and I had a good time with the Ham Radio 2.0 and Jason watching his YouTube videos and some of the other YouTubers that are out there that are doing videos. I think they all have great information to contribute. Ham radio clubs, I like the idea of virtual ham radio clubs. Although, what what I have questions about with the in-person amateur radio clubs is why why is it necessary to go virtual than to have physical clubs. And I think it has to do with the mindset of excuse me, the mindset of individuals that are really technical minded, but yet don't feel comfortable with this new technology, with getting on the air or getting on well, not getting on the air, but obviously getting on social media, getting on YouTube, and actually talking about amateur radio. We're starting a little chat room stuff where you have live streaming with Zoom and these teleconference kind of things that you can do now with YouTube to help people. I think a mix of physical, in person, and uh, virtual, meaning using the internet, using Yardstream or YouTube or excuse me, sneeze, or using uh, I just forgot about it. Let's see, talked about Yardstream, YouTube, uh, and Zoom. There we go. Zoom conferencing or Microsoft Teams or whatever you want to use there to collaborate with amateur radio operators, hams to hams, and working together actually makes that hashtag ham harder more more of a real thing. Uh, Words can be words, but if we don't act upon actually being a little bit more active, we could see this hobby dwindle away. And there's a lot of excitement in this amateur radio hobby. And one of the things I have thought about is running for club president for the Ogden Amateur Radio Club to promote a more enthusiastic and yet vibrant community, a fellowship, actually, more than just being a club that we fellowship, combined our like minds and skill sets to better each other. Uh, we all have our little special techniques or niches. I'm scrambling of all sorts of things. All Star, the Open Spot 3, and doing DMR, FT FT70, for Yaesu, or the 991 Alpha with the Yaesu Wires X, or C4 FM connection to your Open Spot 3, where the Open Spot 3 can now do the cross moding that makes it kind of fun to be able to do DMR to D Star, or YS or Yaesu System Fuse C4 FM, excuse me, C4 FM to D Star. It opens up a lot more. And then all these fancy apps. We have IRLP, Echolink still around, and All Star. And it's a great time to be involved in the hobby. And I know the old timers will say it's not amateur radio, but uh, it's you're still practicing the skill set. That's the argument there. You're still practicing the skill set. Same thing with the Chinese Bofang radio. You're still practicing the skill set. Uh, the greatest mechanic in the world can be the greatest mechanic in the world, and of course, yeah, the tools. A Craftsman versus a Harbor Freight tool. The Craftsman might work better than the Harbor Freight tool, but the Harbor Freight tool might be what you can just afford to get the job done. Uh, But on the other hand, too, it's like you can have all the tools in the toolbox, but if you don't have that knowledge or that mindset of how to use them, then the tool is just a paperweight. Same thing with the radio. The radio is there; it's a tool. You can use it, or you can have it be a loading. Uh-oh! Now I just made the old timers mad because talk about sweet tooth. Don't worry about that. I still know about the load and capacitance and plates, tuning the Pi network and that from owning a Yaesu FT101B. It always drifted a little bit, but get a line. And I still know about uh, tube amplifiers because yes, you still have to play with the knobs on a tube amplifier. And I still know about manual one tuner tuners, how you have to tune the capacitance, the inductance, the roller inductor, get that maximum noise. Okay, and then play around with your antenna capacitance, play around with your transmitter capacitance as far as the cider goes. Uh, so lots of cool things going on in amateur radio. FT8, PSK31 was popular when I started joining. Now we're into FT8, JT65, and uh, lot of a lot of cool and interesting things are going on in this hobby. And I think you don't have to always know Morse code. It would be nice to know it. I still know it myself a little bit, 5 words per minute, but that's just too slow, they say. So we just keep on trying. That's the whole thing. Keep on trying. Uh, practice, practice. What do they say? Practice makes perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. So that's where uh, the old timers come in. It's like, okay, the old phrase, you can, which is a Confucius thing. I googled it. You can teach a man to, you can show a man to fish, and he'll fish for a day. You can teach a man to fish, and he'll have fish for a lifetime. So the teaching aspect is there. Uh, I obviously went from a technician to a tech plus to general to extra. I learned most of the stuff online and by experience. I learned some of the how I got to be an extra by the experience of having a ACUFT 101B, and it was needed to be on the CB modified to be able to work right. And so there was a lot of that was like, oh yeah, that's why you have capacitance, reactance, resistance, and things of that sort, leading and lagging. And who knows? This video could be leading and lagging. Anyhow, I feel like I've rambled on way too much. Uh, 73. Thank you for subscribing. And if you like this kind of commentary, comments, and suggestions on what I should do, then let me know. Right now, I'm on a tight budget, so don't expect uh, don't expect anything super fancy. But we'll try to get a video up and go from there. Uh, Sorry if my clean shaven face is too shiny for you. Anyhow, 73. God bless. Be safe and ham harder. There we go. This is AF7J. Adios. Hammerly Hobo show is going to find the boxcar and the train. Okay, maybe this is too enthusiastic.